One of the biggest struggles within love and relationship is power, and either side not wanting to give that power away or wants to control the other person so the other person feels secure, having more control over the other one. And that's used in things like aggression, threatening behaviour, intimidation, trying to isolate um, people from other people that they are associated with or have known them. This is more so men towards women, I might add too, in this context. Um, yeah, and that control is so dangerous for for a female, not to identify that as a red flag. I've seen prisoners that are doing life sentences for murder because of their inadequacies in the way they cope. And if that's not an indicator for people to take stock of how powerful your emotions can be, well, I wouldn't be neglecting it. I certainly wouldn't be neglecting it in life. Um, yeah, so competition and power kills them all the time. Like I once read that from a female's perspective, it was their whole objective once upon a time back in the day to win over the male, and they used to do this by competing with each other to get the male's attention and to win the male over. That was their purpose in a life. That's all they live for. To be accepted by somebody they were attracted to. And the male's job back in the day, I'm talking Old Testament days and stuff here, but the male's job back in the day was, to respect that. It wasn't to abuse it. And unfortunately, um, females have been abused because it's hard to respect something that you don't know or you're not familiar. It is so powerful and you can't handle it. No one's ever taught you how to cope uh, with intimate feelings and attraction to the opposite sex. And where males have dropped the ball, although they're picking it up now, but where they dropped the ball in the past, um, they abused the vulnerability of a female. That's all. That's all they want. They just want somebody to stay engaged and to stay by their side, who's nice, who's committed to them, and they perceive they can live a happy life with that person. You know, relationships, they're very basic. In the grand scheme of looking at them for, as a whole, um, they're very basic, but they become torturous. They become sometimes like hell, competing, challenging, demanding. I once heard that if you're not aware of what's happening for you when you go into these relationships, you'll possibly take a prisoner. You won't take a human to be an independent, loving, caring, um, having respect for partner. We can take prisoners, and I used to take prisoners because I couldn't cope. I couldn't manage it. I always used to um, think that it's something outside of myself that's going to complete me and make me feel better. And it never did. It never worked. It never worked. Well, I was abusive and I didn't realise that I was emotionally abusive. I was fighting all the time emotionally with my partners, not physically, but emotionally. And that was a form of abuse, not just to them, but to me also. I was too much of a fighter. And what I found interesting is that there's always willing participants in that fight to take you on. That's why you can't compete emotionally against a female or females to males because it doesn't work. But there's a fight, and it's not. Of course, it's not a physical fight. It's an emotional fight. That's where that's where a lot of men can lose it because that they can deal with the physical aspect of a fight, but uh, an emotional aspect. Well, the female is she's holding the WBC. She's got the title in that aspect. Like they've learnt um, how to cope emotionally and to deal with things generally, um, sometimes a little bit better than the male. It's a generalisation, um, but this is where the power and the struggle comes into it because men can't fight the fight that they think they're in. Anger goes to anger. And I'm not saying all men, I'm just saying generalisation. And when women um, if they're not winning the fight, and again, it's not punch for punch. This stuff is not physical. They'll use another form of armor to attack, and in the emotional component of relationships, well, Nothing's off the table. Friggin' guns, bloody knives, bloody friggin' bullets, tasers, words, getting money, putting fear into the other person, threatening, talking bad about them to your friends, and vice versa. Everyone's on the same playing field with that fight. But as I said, probably the females are probably leveraged a touch more in from a coping point of view. But that they'll react. They'll do anything they can to get what they can, and to draw a line in the sand in in relationships, and especially when it's conflict. And most of them are conflict, and that's the issue. Because of not knowing about power and control, and not taking stock of ourselves in these situations, or trying to take stock of ourselves, and we still um, we still struggle. Some people should just not be in relationships of some kind. Everybody's got their ceiling with what they can cope in all kinds of relationships: intimate, friendship, social, business. All of us, we've all got our limits. But as I said, all relationships will um, they they come with competition, and they come with power, and because that's what two individuals bring to that party. Um, and it's hard. It's hard in competition. It's hard in power. Like how do you go beyond competition and power in relationships? Well, somebody has to be bigger and love. One party has to be bigger, and one party has to stand up and goes, I value this more than this crap that's going on at the moment, and we're going to take it up to another level. Somebody has to go beyond it, seek help, counselling, um, do something for the relationship to help it. But don't stay in silence, and don't stay in separation. Engage. It's really important that we stay engaged in relationships. And like asking your partner, like how was your day? Like how did you feel? What happened for you? If you just said that to each one of the people that you love each day, they'll start talking about how they felt during the day, and you will open up a line of communication that wasn't there prior to that. And it's healthy. It's healthy. Um, it takes work to be aware of you, how you are as a competitive human being, and how you try and control things and power. It takes a certain person to acknowledge that in relationships. So one of my points in this talk, if you do acknowledge that's how you do behave, um, you can do something about that. That does not work. Get away from that. If you see that's how you are, get away from it, and start liaising as honest as possible to the people you love, and the people that mean something in your life. The more you talk, the more you break down your independence. And the more you break down your independence when you're close to other people, the better it is for the relationships, because you show what you are and what you truly feel, hopefully. Or if you don't want to show that, well, just live an independent life with somebody. But that's not a good relationship. Yep, hit the bell. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe. I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate a comment too. Don't be shy. I've also got a podcast on Anchor. It's called True Crimes and Prison Diaries. And I've also bought out a book called The W's KingHitBook.com. Yeah, great read. Um, got rid of 10,000 copies. Um, yeah, it's a great read. So have a good day. And if yeah, it's important to be aware of your power and your control, and to identify it as something that you need to do something about it. And because it's not going to work for you in a relationship if it's not acknowledged by both partners, or the one that's trying to control and yeah, and likes power too much. All right, well, you have a good day, and if you can identify what I just said regarding power and control, you'll get back to, yeah, connection and yeah, intimacy and love. Take care. Thank you.